What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel. If you're new, let me give you a little bit of a perspective on exactly what I do here. My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist who is fully initiated in the entirety of the Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana, also associated with that tree. And I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies in direct connection with astrology. And on my channel, Universal Mastery, I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical level so that you can simply use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results with what it is that I'm teaching here on my public channel so that you can use them and apply them in an extremely practical way. Okay? So, what exactly is going to be the topic of our today's video? So this is specifically going to be an occult breakdown of a specific TV series, which is known as American Horror Story, and specifically the season that we're going to be breaking down within the TV series of American Horror Story is going to be season number 10. Okay, so I'm going to be discussing some of the very profound and prominent occult secrets that I was able to observe from what I was able to observe in season 10 of American Horror Story. Okay, if this is something that you want to learn a little bit more about in regards to the secret occult symbolism and potentially watch the season yourself, which I would highly recommend doing, especially if you've watched this video, so that you can pay attention to what's being shown in the TV series and actually learn some really deep occult truths that are being depicted in the TV series itself. Okay, so once again, this is what we're going to be talking about. If this is something that you're interested in, then definitely stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with doing is lighting my EMF incense sticks, or I should say stick. I'm always going to start by setting an intention to increase my power in any way that needs to become manifest. I'm not going to put boundaries on it. If you have your incense, your EMF stick, now is the time to light it. Beautiful. And if you want to get your hands on some EMF incense sticks, which are basically pre-charged with energy created by myself, then you can do so at the fourth link in the YouTube description. Okay. All right. So we're talking about season number 10, specifically within American Horror Story. Okay. Now I've seen a lot of the American Horror Stories seasons. Okay. I've seen a lot of them. I like American Horror Story. It's just my type of TV show. I'm really into that kind of stuff. Some seasons I like more than other seasons. But when it comes to season 10 specifically, this is something that I recently saw, and I do want to be clear, I didn't finish the entire season because I was watching the season through a certain type of streaming platform, and unfortunately, in the middle of the season, as I was watching season 10, that streaming platform, I no longer had access to it. I believe I was watching it through somebody that I know, and their streaming platform, and then they ended up changing their account. Something in that nature happened, and I no longer have that season. I no longer have access to season 10 anymore, but I made it, I would say, a little bit more than halfway through the season, and everything that I did see within season 10 for the period of time that I did have access to it was very profound. I was pretty I guess the word is I was pretty shocked of what I was able to see within season 10 of American Horror Story in regards to some of the occult principles that they are portraying within that specific season. Okay, so first thing that I want to say is there is a lot of deep occult symbolism that is depicted within season 10 of American Horror Story. For any of you listening to this right now, I would highly recommend you watch that season. Okay, specifically if you're someone who consumes my content regularly, because they talk about vampires. Okay, season 10 is basically dedicated to vampires and aliens. Okay, I pretty much made it through the entire vampire aspect of the season, and then midway through the season, it shifts into like an alien aspect. It shifts into an alien perspective. So they start introducing the aliens midway through season 10. So I made it through the entire vampire aspect, and that is pretty much what blew my mind in regards to some of the things that I was able to see. So I definitely recommend you watch it yourself, and that's what I want to say. If you really want to understand some deep occult principles displayed in a TV series, this is what you should watch. I highly recommend it. Okay? So let's start with a little bit of the stuff that I was able to be aware of. So in regards to, there's a lot. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler alert, so just be aware of that. But there's this family that moves to this town, and the town is basically, there's not too many people in the town because it's a seasonal type of town, meaning during certain types of seasons, the town gets really busy, and then during other types of seasons, the town gets really slow. And they are moving, they basically went to this town to get some inspiration, and they were not planning on staying for a very long time. Everyone in the family is a little bit of a creator. They're all creative in their own rights. One of the main characters, the man who is the main character, he is a writer, okay? And then his wife likes to do designing, and then their child is an artist who plays the violin, okay? So they moved to this town just for a period of time, not a long period of time, just I think for about like a month long or 2 weeks or something of that nature. And they're there just to have some creative inspiration from different scenery and just spending time in that certain environment where the town is located. And long story short, there is a lot of strange things that are happening in the town. Okay, there's like these zombies. Okay, there's these people that will walk around at nighttime, and they will literally, they look like zombies, but they also look like vampires. Like if you could imagine a vampire and a zombie being put together into one type of being, this is exactly what they look like, okay? And these things walk around at night, and they basically are trying to take your life. They're trying to take your blood, okay? They need blood to survive, basically, or at least to function properly. So they just live their entire lives in this zombified state, walking around the town at specific times and in specific locations within this town, looking for blood, okay? And the point is that it's very strange, and it's taking place in this town, and the question comes up as to where are these people coming from? What are these people? Why are they in the town in the first place? So long story short, the man who is the writer, he's like one of the main characters within the movie, he decides to go out to a bar in the town. And at this bar, he's by himself, he's at the bar, he meets this other man and this other woman. The woman's an older woman, and the man is just a younger guy. And the woman basically introduces the man to something that they have, which is a substance. It's a pill. They call it the black pill. She introduces this man, the writer, to this black pill. And the reason why is because the woman, the older woman and the younger guy that were at the bar as well, they basically were able to recognize that the man, the main character who's the writer, they were able to recognize that he wasn't as successful as he wanted to be. So he was basically a struggling writer. He was trying to produce papers and produce his own, written product that was going to be consumed by a lot of people. He was a writer, and he wanted to make his writing popular. He wanted people to really pay attention to what he was publishing. And he was having a hard time at doing that. He wasn't finding his flow, so to speak. And as I was saying, this woman and this other man at the bar recognize that, and then they introduce him to something called the black pill. Now, this is where it gets very subtle, and this is where it gets very occult in nature. This black pill, when it's taken, can act in two primary ways, okay? It can either transform you in a way where you become super creative and you start thriving at whatever it is that you're doing in regards to your creative potential, but also you become hungry for blood, okay? This black pill literally turns you into a vampire. But once again, there's two pathways that it can take. It can either enhance your creative potential and you start thriving at what it is that you're doing if you're gifted, or it can go the other route and it can make you turn once again into a vampire, except you lose all your hair, your skin gets super pale, and you become zombified. You turn into one of those zombified vampires that walk around the town, usually during the nighttime and in weird places, okay, like graveyards and things like that. So basically, the man realized where all these people that were walking throughout the town that were in that zombified vampire state, he started to recognize that they were coming from this woman and her black pill. Okay, so all those people had taken the black pill, but it went the other direction for them and they turned into zombified vampires. Okay, but for certain individuals, like the older woman herself and the younger man that's with her, and the main character, who's the writer who takes the black pill from the woman, they happen to get the beneficial results of the black pill, and their creative potential was able to shoot through the roof. Okay, so what is this all depicting? What does this all represent? So let's first break it down piece by piece. So what exactly does the woman in the movie, the older woman who presents the black pill in the first place, what is she representing? Okay, first of all, she's representing the Dark Mother. Okay, and if you watch the TV series, you will recognize exactly what I'm talking about, because every time she shows up, she's wearing all black. Okay, and she's got a dark hint, she's got a dark hue to her nature in general. You can tell she's into the darkness. Okay, and once again, she's the one that offered the black pill to the main character. So she is representing the mother, the Dark Mother, the primal source of evolutionary chaos. In regards to her archetypal character for the TV series, that's what she would be representing on an occult level. Okay, now what does the black pill represent? Okay, the black pill is going to represent the clip-off. Okay, the black pill is going to represent the other side. It's going to represent Universe B. Okay, so when you take the black pill, when you enter into the other side, when you enter into Universe B, you now have two options. You have an option to start developing your own personal power through your own deep unconscious and subconscious mind, and potentially lead to a level of success in your life that is extremely beneficial, okay, because you've been able to basically access powers that you previously didn't have access to. Or it can go the other way, where you become a zombified vampire, okay? Somebody who doesn't understand or didn't have the right intentions when they entered into Universe B or when they took the black pill, and then they end up into a zombified state where they're just trying to take energy from other people, but they have no idea why they're doing it or what they're even doing and how it even plays its evolutionary role in the first place. And this would be the zombified person that is a vampire that's within this TV series. And once again, the occult principle that I'm trying to make you aware of is the fact that this is depicting real life initiation. This is literally what it's really like. This concept that's taking place within the TV series is something that actually is happening, is something that I tell you about on my public YouTube channel all the time. When it comes to occult initiation, specifically when it's coming to the darker aspects of this evolutionary process, when it comes to clipothic initiation, this is something that most people are going to, this is something that most people who embrace do not successfully make it through. There are a lot of people who embrace Clipothic initiation because they hear that it's, there's all these different benefits that you can gain from it. There's different powers you can gain. They want to be rich. They want to have control over their life. A lot of these things pull people in that don't have the proper foundation or don't have the right intentions in the first place. And then they end up turning into zombified vampires, literally like a larvae type of state where all you do is just feed on other people's energy and you don't know why you're doing it. You don't know how you're doing it. And you're not getting anywhere either while you're doing it. You're just literally doing it to survive, essentially. Okay, so the concept within the TV series where they take the black pill and other individuals lose their hair and then turn into vampire zombies, this is a real perspective that is shown within the TV series about how real life black magic initiation takes place. Okay, so the black pill is symbolic for black magic initiations, Clipothic initiations. And once again, if you're successful with your Clipothic initiations, then you have the potential to build your own empire, be a creator, and do it successfully. Just like everyone in the TV series who took the black pill and then was able to thrive in their creative abilities. Okay, this is the general principle that's being shown within the TV series. Okay, so that's the first thing that I really wanted to say. Now, it's also by no random choice or by no random that's the thing. By no random choice that the people who take the black pill, whether you do it successfully or unsuccessfully, you turn into a vampire. Okay, this is also symbolic of black magic initiation, Universe-B initiation, Clipothic initiation. Okay, starting with the first Clipothic spheres, which is Nama and Gamaliel, both ruled by vampire entities. Okay, Lilith being the queen of the vampires, Nama being directly associated with Lilith, which is also a vampiric energy. Okay, so the fact that they're taking the black pill and then they turn into vampires is showing the direct connection to Universe-B and vampirism in general. There is, trust me, there is degrees to vampirism. There are levels to being a vampire, and that is also what's being depicted in this TV series. Once again, some of the vampires thrive with their creative ability, and they know how to use it for their evolution, and other ones, subconsciously and unconsciously, are vampirizing everyone. They don't know why they're doing it. They don't know how they're doing it. And they're making basically no progress. They're only surviving. Okay, that's it. They're not thriving. Okay, so there are levels and there are degrees to real vampirism. Okay, and that is also what I just said is very clear within this TV series. Now, when you take the black pill and you turn into the vampire, you start needing blood. Okay, there's a couple other things that are depicted within this TV series that I want to cover. You take the black pill, you start to shift and turn into a vampire, and you start needing blood to fuel your creative abilities or just to maintain that vampiric state. Okay, you need to start consuming blood, okay, consciously. You need to go looking for it to consume blood, okay? Not by random choice. You need to do that. It's not just because they like the taste of it and they feel like it tastes good. It's that they need it to continue fueling that creative behavior or that energy that they get from the black pill. So this would be pointing to a deep occult principle in regards to real black magic, which is using destructive energies, okay, utilizing destructive energies consciously for evolutionary purposes, okay? When you're a real black magician, when you're someone who's really on that path, this is the path. We utilize a big portion of this path from its evolutionary perspective is utilizing destructive energies consciously, breaking things down under the scope, as I said, of evolution. That's our role, which means the more we break things down, the more we utilize these destructive energies, the more power we gain because we're playing our evolutionary role. It's the same purpose as someone who is a white magician or a light worker. The more you help another person learn from their mistakes, and the more you help them evolve by serving them, the more value you're going to receive in return as a white magician or a light worker. It's the same principle. As a black magician, the only difference is our role, one of our main primary roles, is to utilize destructive energies to break down other people, and that breaking down presents that opportunity of ego death so that they can use it potentially for their further evolution or just destruction. It depends on the person. But regardless, that's the role of a real black magician. And that's why when they take the black pill in the TV show, they start needing blood. They start having this hunger for blood. Okay, they need to get it. And guess what? How do you get blood? You have to destroy things. You have to take things out. You have to eliminate things. Okay? And blood is also correspondent with bioplasm. Okay, there's a connection between blood and bioplasm in regards to the human body and the human energy field. Okay, so that's also a symbol there. But then another symbol is the fact that when they take the black pill and they turn into the vampire and it works out for them, they become much more primal. So you'll notice in the TV series that when they become the vampire, when the man who's the writer becomes the vampire after taking the black pill, he starts acting in a different way that he didn't previously act. He starts becoming a lot more primal in his nature. He starts saying things the way that he actually feels. He starts saying things the way that he's actually seeing them, rather than trying to couch them or sugarcoat them within himself. He starts saying things without fully holding back in regards to what he's saying based on what other people are going to think. He becomes a little bit more primal in nature. And this is also a direct connection to what it's like when you get into real black magic initiations and when you start pursuing this evolutionary path. You start, once again, coming into much deeper contact with the areas of your own unconscious and subconscious mind that start to remove the barriers of morals, general morals that don't serve you on that evolutionary level. So you start being a lot more honest and you start saying things the way that you actually see them without caring what other people think when you say those things. Because if you say something and you know that you're being honest when you're saying it, and you're saying it because it feels right to you in that moment, then most likely that's probably going to be the right thing for you to say because you're honest with yourself. You're saying how it is, how you're seeing it. And you need to express that. If that's you, then that's a form of soul expression. Now, if you're always afraid to say things because you're afraid of being judged, or you're afraid of how other people are going to view you because of what you said, or you're just afraid to say it, then you're building things up within yourself. You're not expressing properly, and that will ultimately affect you in an unbeneficial way later down the road the more you build up. So once again, the fact that they can take the black pill, symbolic for black magic initiation, and the next thing you know, they start turning into vampires, and then they start thinking in a much more primordial way, as well as having this desire and this hunger for blood to fuel that creativity, to fuel that power. These are all direct correspondences to what it's like when you're becoming a real black magician, as I said, when you're really pursuing Qliphothic initiations, okay? So once again, this show shows a lot of these primal, real principles that are depicted in a very artistic way in the show itself that are actually very real principles. And I'm speaking as someone who's been through Qliphothic black magic initiations, and I was one of those people that used my initiations and used my black magic experience to thrive, to take the route of evolutionary progression. And as I entered into my personal Qliphothic initiations, before that, I didn't have a YouTube channel talking about the occult. I didn't have a YouTube channel doing what it is that I love. I started that process in the midst of my own journey, in the midst of my own Qliphothic experience. and I stayed consistent with it. I stayed creative with it. I knew what I wanted. I had an intention. I knew it was going to be beneficial for me. And it's, once again, it's a form of expression. Me coming up on this camera and speaking about these topics and speaking about all the other topics that I speak about on my YouTube channel, this is a form of expression. This is something that, once again, I would do even if I didn't make money doing it. And I did do for 3 years, basically, with making not a penny. Okay, I was just doing it because it's what I do. It's a part of my soul's expression. It serves my evolution. And as I'm saying, I was the person that took the black pill, transformed into a vampire, and used it in a creative way. And now I have an empire, and I thrive doing what it is that I do now. Okay, but just on that same token, I know many people personally. And when I say personally, when I say that, I mean personally. Like, I know them. I've hung out with them multiple times. I know people personally that have pursued this path of black magic initiation and have not made it to the other side. Okay, I know people personally that have taken that black pill and have turned into zombified states of consciousness. Okay, personally. Okay, that is not something that is a joke, and it's not. And I've seen other people that I don't know personally go down that same path and turn into zombified states of consciousness, where, once again, they're always hungry for, it's like these people are hungry for attention. They're always talking about the next fad. They're always talking about stuff and speaking things that they haven't actually experienced. And they're not doing anything in their lives that are giving them experience to evolve or grow. It's just like they're just caught in this loop, this zombified loop, where they're doing the same things over and over and over, and they're not getting results from what they're doing, but they're still doing it, and they refuse to break out of that loop. And it's almost like they're okay with it. It's like that's what they want to do. And that is their, for those types of people, that obviously is their evolutionary path in this lifetime. They obviously pursued a pathway of initiation that was a little bit too much for their circuit. It blew out their circuit, so to speak. So that is what it is. That stuff happens. But once again, the point of me making this video is showing the realness and the truth behind real black magic initiation, and how this TV series displays that very clearly. Okay, and it is no joke. So the value that you get from this video is really understanding that I'm not just here with my microphone talking about these subjects because they're subjects that I read about, or subjects that I think are true and I think, are going to be things that I should talk about. These are things that, if you actually are absorbing in regards to what I'm saying, can help you understand within yourself, are you ready to go into real black magic initiation? Are you ready to really get into Qliphothic initiation? It can help you question within yourself, why are you getting into it? Are you truly ready to go through that fight? Are you ready to go through that struggle? And just that simple questioning that this video can trigger within you, that's valuable. Okay, because once again, last thing you want is, a candy shop that has a front door that has the open sign and says, come on in. And then you get drawn into the candy store. And the next thing you know, all the candy is poisoned. Okay, you start eating it, free candy, take whatever you want, and then you eat it, and then you're poisoned. Okay, you didn't know what you're getting into. Okay, this is just a little analogy that I'm creating. And this is typically what it's like in our today's time when it comes to real black magic initiation and real Qliphothic initiation. And once again, it doesn't matter for me. It literally doesn't matter if you succeed at it or fail. But my purpose and my intent is, if you're listening to me and you're listening to my content, I at least want to give you a perspective that is honest and true and real in regards to my personal experience and what I've seen and what I know works. So, there needs to be this type of information because this is important evolutionary information. And there are going to be certain people that are drawn to this content, that are drawn to my YouTube channel, and learn these certain types of principles, and then gain the value from it, and then make the decision that they need to make. Okay. So once again, that's why I do what I do. If you're going to come to my YouTube channel, I'm going to give you the honest perspective. Okay. Rather than all the other stuff that you might study, the other stuff that you might read, where you think it's all fun and games and you think it's so easy to do. You can just do a couple invocations, do a couple rituals, do a couple initiations, whatever the case is. And the next thing you know, you're going to have wealth, freedom, power, everything you want. When in reality, that's not true. That is the farthest thing from true that I could even, it's hard to wrap my mind around the fact that even me in the beginning stages, I used to think that. I've said it on YouTube videos on my channel where I was drawn into the occult for, we could say, perverted reasons. Okay, I was drawn into the cult for a lot of, illusionary reasons. Okay, now thankfully, I have the upbringing that I've had, and I went through some really challenging experiences and figured out how to get my way out and knew more about psychology, spirituality, things in that nature. I had a background of experience, and that's the reason why I made it successfully through my Clipothic initiations. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it's even hard for me to wrap my mind around that I used to be that way. And once again, that's one of the other reasons why I'm making this content for other individuals who are unaware of what they're getting themselves into. And I'm not, the point is I'm not making this shit up. You can see it on TV shows. And I'm sure this is not the only TV show that depicts this type of information. I know there's ancient Hebrew texts and scripts that talk about Clipothic initiation, or even talk about initiation in general, dealing with the Kabbalistic tree. And it mentions on ancient texts that I believe that on that traditional text that I read, it said, 4 will enter in, 1 will return. Okay. And that is not for no reason. It's very real. It's very true. It's not something you can just pick up and you're going to make it for sure. You got to be dedicated. You got to know what you're getting yourself into, and you've got to have a strong intention. Okay. And those are all things that I did have. Even though I was drawn in for illusionary reasons, I still had a strong intention. I was dedicated, and I was personally ready to die. I was ready to die or succeed. Okay. And that's what really thrusted me through. But once again, what's depicted in the TV series season number 10 of American Horror Story? You take the black pill, that's black magic initiation. You turn into a vampire, whether it works out for you or it doesn't. Okay. You become more primal in nature, and you have a hunger for blood. Okay. You have a hunger for utilizing and taking bioplasm. Okay. That is the source of a Universe B vampires. That's one of the energetic sources. Okay. We use those destructive energies to break things down and then take the energy from what it is that we're breaking down. And once again, that's our evolutionary purpose. That's a valuable thing. It's valuable for the human species, and it's valuable for the planet. It's misunderstood by most people, but that's one of the keys to the occult. It's hidden. Okay. And the people that do this and that understand these subjects that I'm talking about are the people that are going to get huge amounts of value, energetically speaking, and create empires themselves. Okay. This is real knowledge. This is real information that can cause you to thrive here on this planet. Okay. This is real knowledge of how to get wealthy, knowledge on how to create a lifestyle of financial freedom and just freedom in general. Okay. There's a lot of principles that have to do with dark energy and how you utilize dark energy that directly contribute to physical, material success. Okay. And these are, once again, things that I do break down in a lot more depth on my Patreon, because it's not meant for everybody on YouTube. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to say. If you're listening to this, definitely check it out. Okay. Watch the American Horror Story season number 10, and you will be very thankful you watched it, because it will give you a clear perspective on a lot of the stuff that I talk about on my YouTube channel, this video right here. And you'll start to see that, I'm not the only person that knows these types of concepts. Obviously, there are people that are very successful, like myself, in the occult field and financially and all these other areas of life, and they understand these concepts as well. And, you know, it's made its way all the way into a mainstream TV series, okay? Which affects the mass collective on a deep level. It affects them in that deep unconscious, subconscious level. And if you're somebody who watches content like mine, then on a conscious level, because you know what you're watching. Okay, but most people don't know what they're consuming. They don't know what they're watching. They think it's wrong, they think it's bad, and they fear that kind of stuff, rather than listening to understand and embracing it for yourself to have your own experience. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, come down here and hit the thumbs up. Also, come over here and hit the notification bell, because I post videos as often as I can, and especially with content like this, you absolutely do not want to be missing out. Come down here and hit the subscribe button, okay? Because if you're continuously consuming my content and you're not yet subscribed, then you are making a very big mistake. Because when you hit that subscribe button, you can further link into the content, which means you are going to get more bang for your buck. If you want to get more value, subscribe, okay? The next thing that I want to say is you have my full permission to copy and paste this link and send it out to anybody that you think and feel like this would offer value to, or even for any of my YouTube videos, okay? If that's family, friends, social media platforms, you name it, you have my full permission to copy and paste this link and send it out, okay? My intention is to spread this content like a wildfire, and that's exactly what it's been doing. Okay, so let's continue to do that. The next thing I want to say is if you come down right here, this is my Instagram handle, JER_477. Go ahead and add me on Instagram. It's super easy to type in. Okay, check me out on social media platforms. See what I post over there. Okay, and go ahead and like all the pictures. Okay. And yeah, and the next thing that I want to say is if you would like to gain access to a private Facebook community, you click the little drop down arrow, go into the description, scroll down, you're eventually going to come across a post that says private Facebook community. Underneath that post, there's a link. Click that link, follow where the link takes you. Then you can request to join within the private Facebook community. Now, in this private Facebook community, there are over 450 members. It is growing on a day-to-day basis. People are posting in it on a day-to-day basis. And I will attest to this. There is some very, very valuable information and content that people are posting within this private Facebook community. So if you want to gain access to it and potentially find yourself amongst a group of like-minded individuals, then this is exactly what I would recommend joining into and taking advantage of, okay? You know where to go. Now, I'm going to take your awareness to the most important link within the entirety of the YouTube description, okay? Click the arrow drop down. Once again, it's the first link at the very top. You can't miss it, okay? It says My Patreon. On my Patreon, I have an entire vault of exclusive occult content. None of this content is on my public YouTube channel, and that's for many different reasons, okay? Trust me. I have content in the form of live streams, very valuable information, blog posts, very valuable information, and videos that are actually very similar to this one, except they're more advanced and personal, obviously, because that's what the Patrons get, okay? Then as you move into tier 3 and up, you're gaining access to an entire magic training course, which I feel like and I think would be extremely valuable, especially if you are a beginner occultist looking for a structured format to follow in regards to your psychic self-development. That would be for the magic training course, tier 3 and up. Then as you move into tier 4, this is the highest tier. This is also not only the highest tier, but this is the most popular tier on the Patreon, okay? And the reason is because it's called the Universe.B Vampire Service. This is the only service that I perform on the 29th of every single month that has a 29th. I perform this service on the participants of that tier. And what I do is I transform the energetic structure of those participants to be more so Universe.B dominant, okay? So what that basically means is I initiate the process of becoming a Universe.B vampire for those participants, which gives them the ability to exist in the dark energy areas and locations of our multiverse today without being harmed by them, but rather gaining knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and potential power from them, okay? It gives the individuals the ability to be more receptive to their unconscious and subconscious mind, which is feminine in nature. And it also gives them the ability to pull in energy on a psychic level from dark energy and chaos in their environment and then transmute it into their own personal power and evolutionary potential. Okay. If this is something that you want to take advantage of, first link in the YouTube description where the Patreon is, tier number 4. We're going to leave that there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a special shout out to all of you specifically who are Patreon members. Okay. None of you have gone unnoticed. Okay. Special shout out to all of you specifically for taking your knowledge, practices, and your understandings, okay, to a whole nother level. Okay. Huge shout out to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is the second link in the YouTube description. Second link below. Click the drop down. You can't miss it. This is where you can book your own personalized tarot card reading from me. Now, this is an extremely unique tarot card reading that I promise you have never received before. And the reason is because I can literally pinpoint exactly where you are on the Kabbalistic tree. I can tell you what you're feeling, experiencing, and going through in the present moment, and then tell you what to expect in your near and your long-term future based on your positioning and where you're traveling on that Kabbalistic tree. Okay. If this is something that you're interested in, check out the second link below. I've done well over 500 readings at this point. I almost do a reading every single day. I've been doing this for over a year now. I have tons of valuable feedback. Once again, if you want to take advantage of it, second link below. We'll leave it there. Now, as you move into the third link below, this is where you can become a YouTube member. Okay. As you become a YouTube member, you're gaining access to many benefits. You have a badge that appears next to your name. You get special shout outs whenever I go into the live streams. You enter into the amazing YouTube community with all the other YouTube members. You have an ability to leave a question that appears in the same format as a super chat every single month that you're a YouTube member. And I answer it in the same way whenever I do the live streams. But most importantly, you gain access to what I call the Psychic Warfare Emoji Program. Okay, so what this means is that as soon as you become a YouTube member, you gain access to a sequence of emojis that I've designed myself that are based on real occult principles that can be used in a certain configuration. Then you link in the name of a target, then you hit enter. Literally can take up to 5 seconds once you get good at doing this, and it will travel through the metaverse, enter into the multiverse, and hit your target. It is the most simple form of utilizing psychic warfare through the YouTube platform, the emoji platform. Okay. There are over 1,000 posts, well over 1,000 posts where individuals are taking advantage of the Psychic Warfare program. There are even individuals that are doing it right now in this moment as we speak. Okay. If this is something that you want to take advantage of, you know exactly where to go. Click the third link below. Then you can join, become a YouTube member. We'll leave that there. Ladies and gentlemen, as you move into tier 4, this is where you can purchase your EMF incense sticks, electromagnetic frequency incense sticks, which are incense sticks that are created by myself that are based on an occult formula in regards to the sense that goes within the stick. The occult formula gives further access to the 11th sphere on the Kabbalistic tree, which is known as Dath, which represents 100% manifestation. I place a real essential oil in the scent of the stick, which helps to give access to the unconscious and subconscious mind. And it also makes the stick smell absolutely amazing. Okay, these are long-lasting sticks, which means they last a lot longer than your traditional sticks. I place 11 drops of real monatomic gold that soaks into the sticks, on top of the fact that at a liquid level where they soak, there are real quartz crystals and real citrine crystals that sit with them. So they're getting charged on all those different energetic levels. And I personally don't know anybody else that is doing this or has this same concept going on. Okay, so these are literally pre-packaged energetic sticks. If you want to get your hands on a 50-pack bundle, you know exactly where to go. The sooner you place your order, the sooner I can have them shipped out to you. Fourth link below. We'll leave that there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have an amazing rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace. Peace.